Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the path.
And you're listening to Live from the Path. We're coming from the Pathway Studios here in Johnston proper. What happened?
Dan's giving up. He's just searching his phone.
I'm looking at the pictures.
Nothing happened.
Are we live now?
Yeah, we're ready.
Hey, shoot. We're 2 weeks in a row. No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
We're not going to waste the first few minutes. Here's what we're going to go into the show tonight. I'm going to keep it to my, what month is it? My November resolution.
November.
No
Okay.
waste. No waste November.
No, yeah.
No waste November. I like it.
Here we go. Stuff going on the show tonight. First of all, Jake Brend is in the studio. Jake, thanks for stopping in.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I'm excited. So Mike and I have spent time with Mr. Brend. We were in Ethiopia
Yeah.
sharing a room.
Yeah, it was a deal.
Yeah.
There was some-
A whole week.
yeah.
That sounds smelly.
That's awful.
There's some
I
stories.
apologize
Yeah.
wholeheartedly for
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure he's got gossip. But anyway, he's going back, and so hey, listen here. As you become endeared to him over the life of the broadcast, just think to yourself, I can probably help this man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason for you to sit at home and have all these good vibes that you have for Jake, and then just have your money amassing in your wallet to help him go back over to Ethiopia. So if you're interested in that, we're going to come out. There's a couple places we were talking about before the show started on how you can help out, and we didn't nail down the best one yet, but by the end of the show, we'll have something.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just tell a man who's cold on the street, be warm
Yeah.
and filled.
Yeah. You
Can
got to
you
show
just throw money in the air and
That's
hope
right.
that God
Yeah.
sends it there?
You know what? It's like a fleece kind of deal. You go outside and throw a hundy right in the air, and Jake will come by and swoop it up.
God will do something with that.
Yeah.
All right, so stuff we're going to cover. So there was I think this was old. Dan, do you remember how old that blog post was?
Like a couple of years, I think.
That's
or-
right. And I swear that I've read it before. There was a blog post about a guy talking about Operation Christmas Child. It was like
The Samaritan's Purse deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
What Mike? What are you doing?
I'm just asking.
Okay.
What?
What? He's like snapping and looking at stuff on my screen. It's
Here's the
freaking
thing.
me out.
Usually all the LEDs light up when people talk into the microphones, and they're not doing it. And so I was freaked out.
No, yeah, this is right.
Okay, I'll
This
say
is
it.
right. This working out.
We just saw your creepy face behind Ben's creepy face.
Hold on, I'm gonna snap again.
All right. Anyway, so I think the crux of the article was what happens.
Last year, 2017. March.
Okay, so what happens when it gets there? Basically, so like when I think, hey, we're boxing up stuff for Operation Christmas Child to send through Samaritan's Purse to get to all these different places in the world, what happens when it gets there? One, I think ultimately, are you really helping? But the second thing was like, would you be surprised to find out that there's a cost that is incurred by the various peoples on the other side of that in those countries to actually receive the boxes of stuff that you've been sending out?
You know what? I think a lot of this. Well, and we're gonna read parts of the article, right, man?
Yeah.
So anyway, we talked to the guy from Hands for Haiti.
Yeah.
And, well, how long ago was that? Maybe last year or something.
Yeah,
And-
year and a
and-
half, 2 years, something like
Yeah,
that.
and some of the principles that he talked about how to do some of this stuff right were really solid, and I think will probably have a lot of bearing on how this thing goes.
So anyway, we're going to talk about that. Mike has some, or Boova's got some Pope style.
I do. For the first time in a very long time, I got to Pope style.
Been a long time.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
Yeah, some stuff's happened in my relationship recently. I got a new girlfriend over the last couple months, and I've been failing. And I've been kind of blaming some stuff on just how relationships work, and I kind of figured out it was. And I had that revelation.
Lazy relationship boy.
Huh?
I'm gonna call you lazy relationship boy.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's probably a good idea. So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that and what God kind of revealed to me this week.
Right on. Mike, I can't remember. Did you have something?
I got Dear Life from the
That's
Past.
right. That's right. You got some Dear Life from the Path. I also, our friend Matthew Loftus on Mere Orthodoxy this week published an article and it said, easier for people to be good, 10 theses on the Bible, poverty, and justice. And, that seems to be the realm of which there's often a rub. And so I thought, you know what, let's start talking through these. And so this week, maybe we'll do one a week, unless it's a slow week, and maybe we'll do 5. But this week we'll try to get through one and see if does this sniff right? Is this the right way to consider the interactions of the Bible, poverty and justice on these 10 theses from our buddy Matthew Loftus. So we'll go through that. Also, a rousing game of Secular Solomon.
Yes,
We'll be doing Secular
I
Solomon.
got
this
my
week.
Proverbs pants on. That's what I'm walking through Proverbs. That's what I'm reading at the moment. I'm
You
very
wear special
excited.
pants?
Yeah, I put on my Proverbs pants every morning.
That's fantastic.
Here's
What's different about your Proverbs pants?
They give me wisdom, Boova. I have fear of the Lord written all over them. What kind of pants do you wear?
Apparently not the right ones. That's phenomenal.
Actually, I was talking to my daughter tonight. It just turned out is that she was kind of geared up to start reading parts of James, and she said, there's a lot of parts of the Bible that just don't strike me, like they don't come out at me or anything. And I'm like, here's the thing, love, is like I've experienced this most decidedly when it came to the Proverbs and the Psalms. Like I read them and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to be getting something out of this, and they just roll blank on me. And then it turns out when I started reading Proverbs this time around, I realized that I was asking the wrong question of it. Like I was reading Proverbs and Psalms to try to get something out of it. I was looking to see what the Bible could get out of it for me. And instead of this time, I rolled into it going, God, I just want to know you better. And boy, it's just amazing. These things are like fireworks, flying off at me. The Proverbs are making all kinds of sense to me. They're jumping off the page. They're entering my mind throughout the day where I used to write Proverbs on my hand and put it as my cell phone lock screen or whatever. I'm like, I got to remember these Proverbs. These mean something to me. And they would just shake off and not mean anything. Huh. And it really had to do with God discerning your approach to it and looking at your heart and going, look, if this is what you really want, then I will give wisdom. This is what I will do. But if you're not seeking me, you're just seeking to get something from me, then you don't have fear of the Lord, right? You're not starting in the right place. So anyway, it was super interesting as you approach your Bible reading. Just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Like you're not looking at it as a self-help book to try to be a better person or whatever. You're just trying to get to know God better, and God will root that out in you.
Hey man, that felt like a mini impromptu Pope-style advice about Proverbs.
It kind of did.
Get off my lawn.
I wanted to set it up just in case you had crappy Pope-style
Well,
advice.
now I feel like I'm not, because you got this whole fear of the Lord pants thing. And
Maybe
I'm
that was
not-
kind of a bishop level.
Yeah.
Because you've already got a reservation on Pope.
Hey man, I'll step down to bishop. That was some Pope stuff.
Ooh, there's a shakeup.
No. It's a mistake. There's not a hierarchy. You're a mistaken pope.
When you leave the popery, do you get demoted to a different position?
No,
Actually,
don't you die?
You have
only?
to die.
No.
The one dude just
Ratzenberger.
stepped down,
The other
retire?
dude stepped down, and that was actually one of the quandaries. Is there's the last guy to step down was hundreds of years ago, and so they didn't know what to call him, and they got to figure out where he's going to live,
Ex-pope?
what type of things he can wear, like how high a hat he gets.
There's got to be a room
can he
in the
speak in
Vatican for the
public?
guy.
Yeah, does he stay around like a mother-in-law or something? He just
The Pope-in-law. Yeah, that's exactly what you call him. You call him the Pope-in-law, and he gets a room in the left wing.
Yeah.
Because he no longer gets direct counsel from God, so one pope can say one thing and he can't. That'd be.
The Lord disconnected.
I
It's
his
a
life.
tricky
I
way.
can see how it could be a quandary.
It's a good thing I don't do the pope thing.
Yeah, no
except
kidding.
here.
I feel like
Pope-in-law.
that's too much weight for me to decide.
I say Pope-in-law.
I like pope.
He's just the crazy uncle at Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hey, look at the guy with the hat.
That's
My
not the
head's
right
taller.
size.
Look at the robe.
All
What's
right.
up, used to be Pope?
So the article came from a blog called Bush Baby Colvin, because motherhood everywhere is an adventure. And this was dated March 4th, 2017. Said it was a fairly typical Thursday in our house. My husband went to the pastor's fellowship. The meeting ran late. He got home and scarfed a used-to-be-warm meal and gave me the rundown of news from our region's pastors.
I figure that's unimportant information in this blog.
Yeah, I'm
But I feel warm now, though.
Okay, good. I'm glad everything came up. It says the boxes came up again, and ultimately they're talking about the Operation Christmas Child boxes. Said they are livid. There was the group of pastors he described as mostly gentle shepherds, so they wanted to know more. In a bullet point format, he explained that the Operation Christmas Child boxes had reached the warehouse in Dola, and that the Mansa churches needed to come up with the 8 kwacha per box for 5,000 boxes to receive their shipment. That's $4,000. And the reaction,
US grand.
Jeremy said, telling me what I had already calculated. He continued to share the comments from the pastors range from, we don't have this kind of money, to, aren't these boxes supposed to be free? So we haven't always been at these gatherings during OCC distribution time, and so we were backpedaling a little bit to make sense of the statement. And ultimately, there's the questions are becoming like when you pack these Operation Christmas Child boxes and you send them over. What I have in my mind is that I I'm going to ship them. They're going to get to an airport somewhere. They're going to get picked up by some local workers and then distributed to people, kids who need them, right?
Yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
in our mind about what's going to happen.
Right.
Does anybody think something different?
No. How prevalent is Operations Christmas Child? A lot of
big
people
time.
do this.
Yeah, yeah. And as a person doing the box, you also put in $9 for shipping, assuming that means okay, that's shipping it to their hut
It's $9 per box.
per box.
Okay. All right.
That's a lot of boxes in a big old,
Freighter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
You know.
So here was the list of kind of expectations that I think ultimately didn't end up being accurate, or from their perspective weren't accurate. So expectation 1, the $7 shipping costs gets the box to the child because you're paying to get it shipped.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
shipping
9
cost.
now. It's gone up.
Yep.
Since that.
So it says, this is certainly the most flagrant of unmet expectations. In my initial quest to understand why the churches of Mansa were paying to receive their boxes, I learned from OCC USA directly that the $7 only ships the containers of boxes as far as the central warehouse in the country, in our case, DOLA. It is OCC policy that the national leadership team, volunteers, and all Zambian be responsible for distribution and raising funds to cover in-country transportation costs. Historically in Zambia, this has meant levying a transportation fee or payment amongst the churches in each district. This is against the Zambian churches to whom the box is ultimately going to end up in. This fee is not optional. This is not a free will offering, and it is announced to the churches that those who do not pay will not receive. OCC policy clearly states that boxes are not to be sold. However, the leadership team's directive to raise funds and their decision to do so by levying a standard transportation fee has effectively translated to a system of selling and buying the boxes. The national team sells and the churches buy, and that money takes care of the in-country transportation cost as per OCC's plan. Some churches have chosen to absorb the cost on behalf of their congregants. Others have merely fronted the cost and will then resell the boxes to the families themselves. So I would agree that it's outright. Regardless, there's justifications for this, and like the Operation Christmas Child folks do have a response to some of these things, but at its front, that was not my expectation.
Yeah. I mean, my only experience is in Zimbabwe, right? And I'm thinking, okay, it's $4,000 US.
Right.
That's like 7,000.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the churches I'm familiar with there, they don't have that kind of money.
Right.
I mean,
you could put this in like 50 different examples, right? You're in the middle of the Midwest and you're completely flooded out, and all these people from around the country send you sandbags, and then they get here and be like, it's going to be $10 per sandbag for you.
Yeah.
Like what?
good luck.
I mean, all the generosity was wasted in transportation costs, right? We're feeding an industry like it was generous to start with. It's like most of these top-heavy companies, right? Where the very top of the company and the very bottom of the company agree, right? The owner's like, look, you got to give honest service, and you got to deliver stuff on time, and I want you to work hard, and I want you to be home with your family, right? And then everybody in the middle screws that up, and the guy at the bottom's like, I just want to do honest service and be home with my family and do a good job, right? And then somehow all in the middle, it gets wasted somewhere. And that's exactly what's going on here. The guy that's making the box, giving the box, and putting $7 with it is saying, hey, if it'll cost me $7 to get this to a kid who needs it, great. And then the church is on the other end in Zimbabwe going, I mean, $7 is a lot to us, but I mean, somebody already put all the work into it. We can't let that generosity go to waste. And then in the middle of it is just these guys that are taking money into the economy and weren't generous at all. They're just exchanging business.
Well, so that was part of the clarification was Operation Christmas Child said, this is our policy. We do not want to create an unhealthy dependency. So we did talk about that a little bit with Tim Brend when he was in for Many Hands for Haiti. But their goal was to say not to disrupt like the Haitian economy. So like they don't go away and give away shoes and like totally dry up the shoe market when there's a guy whose livelihood is selling shoes in the downtown square in Haiti.
Yeah.
And so it's like a consideration of like they still gave away, but they were just careful about how they did it in such a way that it didn't, and they tried to like create jobs in Haiti as opposed to like just bringing and dumping stuff on folks. So that was the second expectation that the gifts are, so the question about dependency I think is a legitimate one, but that hits the second expectation, which is that the gifts are helpful both in evangelistic outreach and material aid. And let's see, she says...
I push back on the dependency thing, though. I mean, this isn't like a weekly meal. This is a one-time-a-year gift with silly putty and
True.
jump ropes. I mean, I've seen the stuff people put in there.
Right.
It's not necessity. It's
These kids aren't like, hey, I've decided not to do anything with my life. I'm going to live off this silly putty.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, they can
That's
live
not
just
a
fine without
welfare
it. It's
state.
supposed to be a gift, a little like, hey, look at this, it's fun, from an American point of view.
Yeah.
And so in many cases, they don't even know what to do with the stuff.
Yeah, but actually, comes back to what Boo was talking about before the show started: is being so rich that you buy someone a $10,000 cake, right? Where they're thinking, if you'd have just given me the 10 grand,
Yeah, I could have
could have
really eaten off
I could have
that.
put an addition on this hut.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like we could have piped water in, and so like it doesn't mean that you don't want to be generous with silly putty and jump rope. Like I get where your heart's at, right? But like if you look at all the money incurred through all of this, would we have been better off just to send it to a trustworthy dude in Zimbabwe and let him do it?
So yeah, so she gets to that. She's and she actually would agree with what Dan was saying. Is for the second element, like, is it helpful material aid? She started to wonder just how many people really consider the shipping of these boxes to be an effective form of relief and or development aid. It seems like Christmas presents don't necessarily need to be sustainable. So are our friends packing their boxes full of socks and washcloths and toothbrush and Band-Aids because they believe they are supplying items that the child actually desperately needs? Like, you're not going to create a dependency on something that isn't a need. And like, I think we recognize that this stuff isn't necessarily a need. But that's a core question though, is like, when we do these types of things, do we think, hey, we're meeting a need? Because the question is that it says it may be quite right that a child would not have gotten a new toothbrush without that box, and that makes us all feel so useful on this planet. But if material aid is the expectation, this is not a good stewardship of resources. For the cost of that new American toothbrush, a child in Manson could buy 10 toothbrushes in that market. This pattern holds true for many of these necessity items. And here's some examples. It says, a cost analysis on the boxes as a whole is even more striking. Expenditure certainly varies, but if we guesstimate that the average box, contents plus shipping, is worth $30, seem about right? Then we have done a good job of counting have we done a good job of counting the alternative cost? Have we considered what could be done with that money instead? In rural Zambia, $30 can pay for 60,000 liters of potable drinking water, 100 kilograms of maize meal, feeding a family of 5 for 4 months, school fees and uniforms for 6 elementary kids for a year, 2 breeding goats, 6 insecticide-treating mosquito nets, 15 gallons of soybeans, and wages for 3 weeks of farm work. The families are not consulted, of course, meaning no one has ever asked them directly, would you rather have a box of assorted American goods, or would you rather send all your kids to school this year?
Holy cats.
I guess that's sort of what we learned in Ethiopia. Like, we brought stickers, soccer balls, all that good stuff, but we didn't spend a bunch of money. Like, you guys raised the money with the song, and we gave, $300 to that first orphanage, and they said that'd feed them for 3 months with the TEF.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's funny how that's what you think is and some of it's for lack of going over there, and some of it's just flat out American arrogance. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're like, these kids just need somebody to brighten their day. We'll be the brighten the day police. We show up, we do something fun for the day, and like your heart is definitely in the right place. Don't get me wrong, but you're just thinking about the problem wrong. Right? Like, my kids get excited about stickers because they have food. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have clothes and they go to school. And so they're like, ooh, a sticker, it's different. Where they're like, ooh, toothbrush, different.
Yeah.
Ooh, food today, different. And so like we look at the problem weird because it's not our reality. And some of it doesn't put our heart in the right place. It just puts our mind, we're blind. You know what I'm saying? We try to solve problems with the way we would solve problems in an affluent, rich country.
I guess my perspective from going there the first time compared to the second time is completely different. Like, going there, I thought it was all about just like making their day, letting them have fun, and now going back, it's like helping them live a better life.
Yeah.
So I guess like just seeing it, opening your eyes and all that good stuff is really good. Just, it softens your heart. It makes you, I guess, see the problem more, like you were saying. The problem isn't having fun and blowing bubbles. It's eating food and getting an education.
Yeah, and people like bubbles. It's not like you're totally wrong. Bubbles are kind of cool. But like, so what was one of the things that people expect out of it is in the evangelistic component. And like, I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, of all the things that Jesus told us to do to spread good news about it, it really requires an interaction on somebody's part. And like they'll know us the way that we love. And like, we feel love, or maybe we perceive that love is felt by stickers and bubbles and a jump rope. And like, I just don't know. Maybe if that does mean love to them, then by all means we should continue to do it and attach a guy with it and have them something to say about it. But like, that means love in our perception to them. And most of the time we have them wrong. Yeah. And what we think would actually make them feel loved.
Maybe part of the solution is they need to Samaritan's Purse needs to do a better job of educating the gift givers. Because we all put it through our own filter, their heart's right. I mean, they're really trying to do the right thing. They just have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no clue till I went there. Like, you hear the stories, blah blah blah. But then you go there, like saying, you see it, and you're interacting with people, going, okay, yeah, I idea.
Yeah, I had this wrong. You know?
Yeah, my idea of a bad day is I only have 2.5 meals.
Yeah.
Rather than like one meal for the week. Yeah, it's
We were talking about this a little bit last week because we had gone to a concert where they had a whatever the guy is, but where they adopt
compassion guy.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, I know what he's doing, and like I said, I think all their hearts in the right place. But like he was nailing on this one little boy who lived in this country, and he's like he sleeps on a dirt floor and he lives in this hut, and I'm like, it's 70 degrees
Because
year
they all
round
do.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I hear what you're saying. Like, and it sounds heartless when you say it our way. We're like, yeah, but. Because I sleep in a bed and I condition my air, and that's all true, But the truth of the matter is that kid who definitely needs food and definitely needs an education, but like his hut that he lived in, his grandpa lived there, and his grandpa before him, because they live on a mountain, 15 miles out of civilization, and they've been doing it for generations, and they don't see it as a detriment. We do because we think that they should be like us.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, you should probably ask them what they need, not just tell them what they need and then impress it upon them that your lifestyle should be better because mine looks this way. We live in the Midwest. If you don't condition your air, you're living outside. That's just the truth. Now, sometimes we look at it and say, it's I like to bring up Las Vegas all the time as the height of human arrogance, that we built this giant city in the middle of the desert where we pipe water in from 2 states away, trying to keep this thing up and running, right? That's pretty bold. But at the end of the day, we tend to do the same thing within uninhabitable areas. We say, look, we have to make this comfortable for us, right? And a lot of the world just does not see things that way. There's not an air conditioner in Ethiopia at all. Big high-rise buildings, 20 stories tall. There's not a heater or an air conditioner in the whole building because they just don't do it. You put on a coat if you're cold. You take it off if you're hot.
Yeah, the only places where that exists in the capital of Ethiopia are where Chinese businessmen are coming in and like paying to do that. But there's not like cultural places where that's happening. As a matter of fact, it made me think about we're sending American toothbrushes over to Zambia. They were selling sticks in Ethiopia. Did you try any of those, Dan?
We pulled to the side of the road once. The guy goes, "Watch this."
Yeah.
Pulled a branch off a tree. This is how we brush our teeth.
That's what I
going,
tried. I was actually kind of impressed by it.
Yeah,
It was bizarre.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, so we're trying to round that whole point up here. Is what we're trying to say is like we look at the world with our lens on, and like there's some of these things that I'm just not seeing right, and I probably won't see it right because I don't live there, right? And so what you assume, I guess what I assumed is like these people who do large world mission type stuff, like they have someone in country that can tell you the deal and say, look, if Pathway wants to do Operation Christmas Child this year, look, you're sending to Syria. Here's what the need is in Syria. It's not the same as it is in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
They're just different. There's a different culture. There's different things going on, and it's you got to be a little bit more specific than that.
Yeah. And he did say in the blog there that he only knows that one country.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe it's different in other countries. I mean, that's the only experience.
Yeah, but I mean, how could it be?
Yeah,
if I can't,
we'll charge you guys, but not you guys.
Yeah, the policy, the stated policy is the same everywhere where there is a cost. Again, to try to, from their perspective, to keep the dependency. And I would agree though. Like that doesn't it doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know if they just want to. It's easier to say. I bet did it used to be $5? I bet it was super easy to be like, hey, $5 and you can get this in somebody's hands. And even at $7 or $9, you're less than $10. But the minute you say, hey, look, it's going to be an extra $7 per box. Now you're $15 a box, and you're like,
well,
maybe I don't want to send these rubber duckies for $15.
That's the thing. Shouldn't the truth of it force you to do something different anyway?
Yes.
Like if it turns out to be $16 a box, and we have loaded it up with $3 worth of crap, shouldn't we say, should we just pool our money together and find the head of whatever there and say, look, we're just going to send you $5,000.
We're going to dig you a well.
Do great things with it. You know what I'm saying? Here's $5,000 that you can just do generously and show God's love to people. Tell them the story. Tell them where you got it. Say that God loves you, and we just want to bless you with and let Him decide where that goes. And that's a tough burden on that guy because $5,000 won't last very long. But boy, howdy, will he spend it better than we would have on egg shakers and whatever those rubber poppers you put on the table and pop up eventually.
Now I have seen catalogs though where I felt like they did this really well, and I think Operation Christmas Child or like Samaritan's Purse certainly does this.
Yeah.
Where like you can say for $50 buys 2 goats or like whatever the thing is, and you can go out and you're buying kind of tangible things, and you get to see or what it costs to hire a tutor for the school children for 6 months or whatever, and but it's in a catalog format, and that's super helpful.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Tell me we didn't have that wrong though, right? Ben and I were all geeked up. We're gonna buy people goats. And we're gonna buy them at the market, so the guy selling them gets the money, and then they're sustainable. They can feed it and clean up the yard, and then when they need it, they can butcher it. Here's the thing though: poor orphanages don't have a refrigerator. Nobody wanted the goats.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted them. I thought it was genius. Ben and I are just reveling in our own greatness on how we've come up with these goats. We're like, we're going to buy them goats. It's a great idea. Turns out they have nowhere to store the goats, and so it's completely wasted. Something I would not know if I didn't go over there.
Yeah.
And so even those catalogs are still a bit iffy. The neediest people in Addis were orphanages filled with 300-400 girls, and they don't have a refrigerator to store the goat, so it didn't matter.
I mean, it's not that the catalog only said goats.
I'm just saying.
I think the here's what's interesting, and I feel like we've come to this point before, is that this doesn't speak negatively of our intentions,
Right.
but it does speak cautiously of our blindness. Like, where we have to be careful that the way that we want to help is actually helpful. And we can't be satisfied that, hey, the first thing that I thought of, goats, or like, hey, wouldn't it be super cool if we could bring some joy to their life to send the Christmas box? I mean, yeah, it's still a cool thought. It's good thought. But, like, if someone really gave you the choice and said $30 for water for 6 months or for a Christmas present, like, here's what I do. You're probably more inclined to do both, right? If I had that perspective, I'd be like, you know what? I'll send the box plus $30. Because I want them to play with this thing for 6 months while drinking fresh water, right? And so by trying to solve a small problem and spread a little bit of joy, which got to be real super careful, is another aspect of the article of, like, in a poverty culture, you do what you can do to get free stuff. And so, like, if I sit through a vacation spiel to get a free night at a hotel somewhere, they sit through a gospel presentation. You would never, and I can't imagine one person in that organization would ever try to make it seem like those two things are tied together. However, it doesn't mean people won't tie them together. Hey, God loves you. Here's a gift. Oh, gifts didn't show up this year. What does God think of me?
As we hand out donuts and coffee every morning and go, glad you could make it. Here's donuts. These donuts are crappy. We're going to find another place to go.
Anyway, so that's I think there's a broad caution that says one, like, give, but two, make sure you're getting what you feel like. It's okay to be prudent here. Like, just because they say it's for a good cause and it doesn't mean it's not. It's okay to make sure you're getting value out of it. Because you want to make sure the most out of what God's money's doing.
Yeah.
We run into the same thing with every Christmas we collect stuff for the homeless people, right? And, like, it doesn't matter what you put on the sign to say, here's what our needs are, like soap, toothbrushes, whatever. People drop off their used crap. Like, it never fails.
They need Christmas stockings.
Yeah,
put where?
They definitely need these. They need these pants. They need these proverb pants I don't wear anymore. I'll just give them to the homeless guy. Like, the homeless wants your secondhand proverb pants. But, I mean, like, the girls at the school will do this every year. They put a tree out and we say, and there's like an ornament on the tree and they pick it off and whatever. And it never fails. There's boxes and boxes and boxes of, like, little girls' clothes. Like, I hear what you're saying, but, like, I'm saving you the drive to Salvation Army. Because here's the thing, I'll take them to homeless people, and when they don't want them, I just turn around and donate them. They turn around going somewhere else. We do our best to source them to where the need is the most, but half the time people are just unloading their crap.
Yeah.
And that sucks. That's not fun at all, because it just leaves me with a bunch of garbage that I got to try to redistribute to the Salvation Army after we're done.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, something to pray about, look into, consider as you prepare to give this holiday season and beyond. Okay.
I'm not done with this, Ben.
What? No, yeah, what's it? That article's over.
Okay, good. It's got me all riled up.
I guess you are.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, if you're also done with this, let us know on the complaint line. Give us a call or text at 515-517-0085. Now, here's the thing. I love y'all. I mean, blessings and peace from our God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ, from the guys at Live from the Path. But when I say it's a complaint line, I expect to see some complaints. And I appreciate the kind words that we're getting. But I was kind of excited for a few complaints. So, I mean, if you need to make one up just for my tickles, go ahead and do that this week for some giggles for old Ben and complain about something in the show.
Hey, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, I think they should at least give us $9 too.
Yeah, and $9.
Maybe a box and
So
$9.
your complaint makes it to the person that you.
Yeah. And then we'll charge you 10.
Yeah, then we'll sell it to Buva.
Wait.
$10
I just paid $10 to get insulted.
for a box of complaints.
Hey, so
Actually, if they were legitimate complaints about me, I think curiosity would kill me, and I would have to pay that.
Pay it, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be blatantly honest. Even if I knew it was just from you and Ben,
what did they say?
yeah, I would probably go, Hey, man, there's a legit box full of honest complaints about me. I'm a curious fella.
Yeah. Hey,
I
boss.
got to know.
Hey, boss, I
10
don't like the
bucks.
way you say the S at the end of your sentences. Hey, before we leave this topic real quick, Jake is actually going back to Ethiopia this year, and Ethiopia and where else? Uganda?
Yep, Uganda.
Yep, both places. And so, actually, the complaint line is the best place. This is going to be our fail-safe. If you are at all interested in helping him or his team go over there, I personally have gone with this man. I know what his heart is for the people over there. And so, if there's anything that you'd like to help out, even monetarily, hit us up on the complaint line. Just hit a text there with your information, and we'll get in touch with you. That way, we can just do this on the up and up.
Yeah. That number is 515-517-0085. Call or text will work. That's the live from the Path complaint line / Jake Ethiopia line.
Yeah.
I guess all I've got to say is just the hearts of those kids are so good, and Jesus is clearly working in that in just that country. But one orphanage, specifically Kachene, Mike and Ben are familiar with it. It's just there's a different type of feel there. Would you agree with that? Like,
Yeah.
there's clearly God working through them, and they're so happy with each other. And it's probably different with us not there. Like, they probably get that spiritual high when there's white Americans with money showing them love. But when
Doesn't that just promote the opposite of what we were just talking about? The white Americans with money show love with cash.
We should send someone else in.
well, I guess
That's why you two goat guys aren't going again.
Keep your goats.
I guess what I was going to move on to was we brought them feminine products.
Yeah.
And there was a huge line of 300 girls, and there wasn't 300 products the
Right.
first day.
Yeah.
We went back. But I guess just that money, I wouldn't say it wouldn't help us get there, but it would also help us buy needs that are so important for those girls just living everyday
And there
life.
is something to be said about what Jake's saying. Like and maybe I'm not a world traveler for missions, right? Like I've been on like one, right? But like my experience is that like if you get the opportunity to go somewhere and serve people, and you could spend your American money in country to get the shopkeeper who's trying to do legit business some money, buy all the feminine products or soda or Tef from that guy instead of shipping it over with you, and then turn around and just give them whatever they need. Maybe they don't need a goat. We were wrong. Maybe they just need Tef and barley. Buy them Tef and barley.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had it was that was one of the coolest things to ever be a part of, and this is true. Like being part of God's work with like and having the proper resources is just like a crazy cool thing to be part of. But I think we had $2,800 or something. I mean, we were loaded.
Yeah.
We had tons of money to like, hey, what do you need? Done. And we bought out like 4 pharmacies of feminine products and like and these massive stacks of grain and taffin and just stuff that you could deliver. And like it was just it's so hard because like you see needs around and you're like, boy, you're patting your pocket and you're like, I don't know how to help. I don't know if I have the money to do it or whatever. And like just to have set ourselves up to be able to just have money and say yes, whatever you need, yes, we'll figure it out. That's I don't know. I can't think of a better experience.
It really was super fun. And plus, we got to do both, right? You buying the Tef and the barley, and then we showed up with 250 Fanta. And then 10 of the girls tried to give the Fanta back.
Yep.
Because they were so excited that they'd given Fanta that they wanted to show their appreciation by giving you the Fanta back. And you're just going, oh man.
That's still I have two friendship bracelets on my arm from 2 of the girls at that Kachene orphanage, who like, and we had handed out the friendship bracelets to them. And I got 2 more. Those still in my arm. All right. Yeah. So let's see. Let's do this. Buva, here's what I heard.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Someone told me
Wrongly.
that you were the Pope.
I heard that,
buddy.
Ben.
And I said, look, I know Buva's been out for a while, and it's not impossible that he doesn't spend it around the world standing on balconies. But I said, look, I'm pretty sure he's not the Pope. And they insisted that he was the Pope.
Really?
Yeah, and so I can't do anything about it, Buva. They're on the airwaves, and they say, look, we want your Pope-style advice. We're not leaving here until you give some sort of advice like the Pope would give.
Well, with that setup, it sounds like I kind of have to. So the setup for this is I'm in a new relationship. Gal and I have been best friends for about 7 years, and we started dating about 3 months ago. First month was great. It was that kind of whole like new relationship feel. We were always having fun together, going on dates, even driving around, just just having fun driving around town was a right. So the last month and a half probably has been kind of rough. We get at each other, we fight a lot. Even little things make us fight and get mad at each other. And on multiple occasions, we've walked away from each other and just walked out. It's been pretty rough. To the point that both of us, and this is kind of more personal than even I plan on getting, but care about all you, and you need to get off my lawn. So, we both on our own, without telling each other, had conversations with our friends and colleagues and confidants about breaking up, and whether or not it was worth it to continue the relationship. Without knowing that the other one had that conversation, we both had it. And so last Tuesday was 8 years since I lost my mom. It was an 8-year anniversary of my mother's passing. And it was a rough day, obviously. It wasn't like I don't go to that day thinking, oh, man, today's going to be great and I'm going to have a lot of fun. And no, it sucks. And I think about my mom the whole time, right? And that day got worse because I got a call about a gal who was the mother of some of the neighborhood girls in my neighborhood when I was very young. She was in hospice, and it was going to be possibly her last day. Her liver had shut down, and her kidneys were shutting down. And so she was going to be passing. And so I took the opportunity, and I went and I spent some time with the girls and with her, and sat there and was praying, and had her hand in my hand, and we're praying with the girls and just sitting there. The gal that I went to see there with, she was unconscious. She'd been sleeping for a couple of days, kind of incoherent. Her body was shutting down. And so she wasn't really there, but I wanted to pray with her, and I wanted to pray with their girls and kind of talk about how rough the situation is. And it just kind of hit me as I'm sitting there, in an awful place where I'm sad and I'm crying and all this different stuff. And I just sat there and I thought to myself that I couldn't stop thinking about my girlfriend and how much I missed her and how much I wish she was with me. And it hit me that, like, the way that I've been acting, I don't know if she would inherently know that I was missing her in that moment. Like, I don't know if she would inherently know that I couldn't stop thinking about how much I wanted to be next to her and be by her. And we had talked a little bit that day, and she had kind of revealed some stuff to me about some things that I was doing, but I didn't really take it to heart. But it just kind of just hit me like a ton of bricks. How much I've been taking it for granted, and how much I've been neglecting her, thinking that what I was giving, which was, half effort into the relationship, was enough. And it finally hit me that I'd been failing her. And I was sitting here angry at her about stupid stuff that meant absolutely nothing. And I literally never stopped to think, well, what am I doing wrong? And so I texted her and I said, hey, can we talk? I want to bring some stuff to you. And so the next day we sat down and we talked together, and I told her, I said, here's the deal. I'm always talking, and I'm always saying things, and I'm always the one who brings stuff, but I never take time to listen. And I'm sorry about that. And I want to sit down and I want to listen to you. I don't want to talk. I don't want to give you rebuttals, and I don't want to give you an argument. I just want to hear, what can I do to make this better? And yes, you're not perfect, and I'm sure I could come up with a couple things, but that's not what this is about. This is about me shutting my mouth and listening, and actually listening, not trying to form anything. And so we sat there for literally an hour and a half, and she just told me things and opened up more than I had ever, unfortunately, let her, because I'm always talking, and I'm always trying to interject what I think, and I'm always putting my thoughts into the situation. And so I sat there and I listened to her, and it broke my heart, the way that she had brought things up, that I'm sitting here thinking that I'm doing everything I can, and I'm putting in 110% into this relationship, and I'm doing everything I can to keep her. And she's sitting here telling me she doesn't even feel like she's my girlfriend, because she feels like she's just a best friend that I call every once in a while, because I don't actually involve her in things. And I don't tell her about my day, and I don't tell her what I'm doing. She just finds out. And it floored me, because I was sitting there thinking, oh, she's going to have a couple things. But no, she had a whole list. And here's where my Pope style comes in is, first and foremost, fellas, if you're a talker like me, take some time to do that. Shut yourself up. Don't sit there and try and come up with a rebuttal to everything she says about what's wrong or what you're doing. It's not about defending yourself. It's about fixing the situation. And I think that was one of the best things I've ever done in a relationship, because I really like to argue and I really like to defend myself. And I just stopped myself. And I didn't even apologize to her, because I said, if I apologize, all it's going to do is it's going to turn into me defending myself again. And I don't want to do that. This is not about me telling you why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. This is about me listening to your heart and listening about what's wrong and fixing it. So that was my first start. But the second piece is this. I have been in a few very serious relationships in my life, not very many. And I've had plenty of girlfriends that lasted a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but never anything that really felt like it was. And I've always said that I wanted to have a relationship that was God-centered, right? And we all say that. We all say that we want a relationship that has God at the center and things like that. But I've been treating that statement like I treat a lot of my faith. And my faith sometimes, and I think this goes for a lot of us, goes on that roller coaster, right? Where you feel the spiritual highs and you feel the spiritual lows and things like that. And I've been on that roller coaster for a very long time. And I'm tired of being on it. And I'm tired of going on the ups and downs. I want to find myself in a place, like we always say with Enoch, just walking. It's not about, climbing mountains and being in valleys. It's about just walking and being there for the steady. And so we had this long conversation. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm raw, I'm laid out. I just feel horrible. I want to apologize to her and I want to fix it. But I knew that that wasn't the moment to fix it. And I decided that I wasn't going to do anything but pray. And for the first time, I sincerely held one of God's daughter's hands and prayed to him about her. And it was weird. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm holding her hand, talking to him about her. And it's odd and it's awkward at first, but I sat there and I apologized to him for what I'd been doing to her. And I sat there and thought to myself, like, this is your daughter. This is your daughter that I'm holding hands with. And I've been treating her this way. And I've been making her feel this way. And I call myself your son. And I tell her I love her on a daily basis. And I'm doing all this stuff. And my Pope style is in that. If you're in that place where you're in a relationship with someone and you want to do that God-centered relationship thing, it's not about just going to him when things suck. And it's not just about thanking him when things are amazing. It's about walking and actually taking steps to daily be with him, centered around him, with your partner, with the person you're with. And I got scared last week by you guys because we talked about marriage a little bit. And I heard about the whole, it's not so much the love, goody feelings and stuff like that. It's being with someone for a long time and dealing with the things are going to suck. Things are going to be awful. You don't want to be around that person sometimes, but what it means is you're with them and you're with them for everything and you stick around for everything. And I think that was the first glimpse I got of, man, this sucks. But I don't just want to fix it I don't want to fix it when it's awful, and I don't just want to be there when it's good. I honestly want to be in a relationship that I want to be here forever. And I got to figure out how to do that. And then more importantly, I want God at the center of this. We've got to figure out how to do that too. And if it starts with an awkward prayer after a fight, or after me finally coming clean about what I was doing or what I wasn't doing, great. But I can tell you in the last week, after just one time talking to God about her, it has been the best relationship I've ever been in. 100%. We both feel like we're putting our part in. We both feel like we're caring about each other. We're constantly talking. We're constantly thinking about each other. We went to church on Sunday morning and just worshiped God together. And it was just no arguments, no fights, just jabbing at each other, being upset. It was literally just good, amazing, fun time together. And we haven't had that since the beginning. And my Pope style advice summed up is this. If you're in a relationship with someone and you really want to do that whole, I want God-centered, it's just like walking with faith, and it's just like Enoch. It's the daily. It's not just being there at the mountains, and it's not just being there at the valleys. It's just every day refocusing yourself on who he is and what that means for who you and your partner are. And it's being focused on him so that you could both grow together as followers in Christ and then fall in love with each other in the process.
Get off the lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Get off the lawn.
Man, I don't have anything to add. Nicely done, Bova.
I guess just comparing that to my life, if a lot of people obviously don't know me, but I'm a senior in high school, so I've grown up through the youth group, and I tend to go on this week-long camp, spiritual high, for a week, 2 weeks, runs out, you have a gradual decline, and then you get back, and then it's just the same repeating cycle. And that's what it's been like for me since 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then in February, I think Mike and Ben might know this, but I had one of my best friends, he committed suicide. It was just, bam. That's when God says a storm is going to hit, and it hits, you're like, wow. So running through that was just kind of weird. I looked to God, but not necessarily in the right way. And then over the summer, I went to Ethiopia, and I went to 2 camps. So that was like a spiritual high for like a month or 2. And then I got through the school year, and it's just gone. Just sunk all the way. And I actually had a couple friends that I'd talk with daily, weekly, about God kind of call me out like, dude, you're not giving your entire life to Jesus, and that's what you've got to do. And I've realized that over the past month, that if you're filling yourself up with Jesus, that's what you're going to pour out, and that's how you're going to feel. And I actually went to a retreat this past weekend up at Hidden Acres. And it was like the first time I went into a retreat feeling like I know who Jesus is and what he does. And I got the chance to lead my small group with confidence for like the first time ever. And like that's all thanks to just giving time to Jesus and wanting to know Jesus and not doing a Bible plan because someone will get a notification on the Bible app like, oh, good, he's reading the Bible. You read the Bible because you want you
Right.
want to feel the love of Jesus
absolutely.
and what he's doing. I guess that's whatever my Pope thing is.
I dig on it, man.
Fill yourself up with Jesus.
I'm
and
now the
that's what
Pope-in-law.
That's what you'll pour
Poop
out.
has been regulated to the Pope-in-law.
I'm cool with it. As long as I get a spot at the Vatican.
You know what? I couldn't agree with you fellas more. Like if there's been any changes that have been noticeable and positive in my life, it's been consistent, obedient reading and spending time praying. Like and it sounds so terrible when you bring it up to people on the offset. You're like, every day, but I don't want to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do I got to get up early? What am I supposed to sit in my living room by myself with my hands all out or whatever, praying? And stuff? Sounds terrible. You know what I'm saying? And like I thought the same thing for years. I know Jesus my whole life, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. It sounds stupid. These are all religious practices that aren't necessary into following Jesus. That's a lie. Yeah, they are. They are totally. They're religious practices for a reason. Because that's how you get to know people. I know my wife because I talk to her every day and spend time with her and ask her how things are going and then ask her how her life is happening and all that. And like I didn't do the same with God. I'd check in and check out like it was a job. And you wonder why you don't like that job because you didn't give that job a chance. You weren't even trying. So like there couldn't be more solid advice, fellas. It's solid.
Yeah, it's interesting how much of a surprise it is, perhaps, to find out that like you get the full experience of following and being with Jesus when you actually spend time following and being with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like what? What? That's how it works.
What's
eh?
this wizardry?
I think it's kind of like the whole 12-step programs out there that you get overwhelmed thinking about, hey, my ultimate goal is to be this great spiritual giant or whatever, or thinking about too far ahead or too far back. You're just today. It's all I got to worry about. I'm going to read my Bible. Today I'm going to connect with God.
Yeah.
Today I'll be obedient.
That example is funny though, because like, I like to think of following Christ like being an alcoholic.
I'm addicted to you, Jesus.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, man. I'm addicted to you, Jesus.
I mean, it's that element of the 12-step thing is
Right.
the one day at a time thing, or I don't know how to
Right.
say
Dan,
it,
do
but,
me a favor. I need you to make me a rap music video called I'm Addicted to You, Jesus. And I want you to be as old, white, honky as you possibly can.
I'm
And so
addicted
you will
to you,
go.
Jesus.
Yeah, that will explode
You are
on the
in my
internet.
heart.
I am certain of it. Oh, man. Yep,
Okay,
this
now
is
this
happening.
definitely
This is
has
100% happening.
today, I will not be apart.
Oh,
Is that white
man.
man enough?
Yes.
This
And
video
that
is gonna
vest
be
makes
of
it
no
even better.
spiritual
Yes.
value at all, but the comedic value alone
Oh,
is worth
man.
its production.
This is how we're gonna get some action on the complaint line.
I was going to say, that's got to be a bonus on the next Live from the Path Christmas album, is I'm Addicted to You, Jesus, by MC Dan.
That's true. The first one sold so well. I don't have I will gain.
I say we double it.
Remember, you got to pay for $7 for it to ship to your
That's
place,
right.
and then another $9 for it to get shipped to the proper location.
Hey, we could put it out on vinyl, and the hipsters buy it right up.
Oh, yep, that's happening.
Yeah, small batch white man Christmas hip hop from Life in the Past.
We need to somehow.
Small batch, yes. And you throw small batch on anything, hipsters and vegans, and everybody's like, "Oh, I want it."
Just work
Wait,
it in
that
so
means it
somehow
wasn't made by the big conglomerates. Oh, wait, yes, it was.
We get people to put it in their Christmas boxes. We'll sell them mint.
Hey, quick sidebar. Did you know that Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR is brewed, packaged, and made completely in a Miller facility?
That does not surprise me.
So
even a
they've
little
had
bit.
like this 60-year agreement. It's always been this way. And now Miller Lite goes, because the alcohol market is shrinking because of all the craft beers, like the big conglomerates are losing a lot of sales.
Yeah.
And now they don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to package PBR. PBR does not have a factory of any kind.
They're just label.
And the only other beer distributor that could actually fill this order is Anheuser-Busch, and they go, no, we don't do that. We don't do contract beer fills, right? And so like PBR is looking at going out of existence. It's looking to disappear in the next 3 to 4 years.
What are the hipsters going to do?
That's exactly what the article was about. Is the hipsters lose PBR? They'll have nowhere to drink.
They'll lose PBR, and what's next? Spam? That's going to be awful.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And now, for America's fastest growing game show,
Man, it's time.
Secular or Solomon?
That's right. Completely unbeknownst to you, you've stumbled on America's fastest growing internet game show, Secular versus Solomon.
Mike, you got your Proverbs pants on?
I should have brought my scorecard. I'll have to just wing it.
Okay. So, as a reminder, here's the gist of the deal. Okay. There's all kinds of wisdom out there. Wisdom in quotations. All right. Do we know where our wisdom's coming from? If you hear someone say a slick phrase, do you say, "Hey, that's Bible. I'm going to change my ways about it," or can we properly identify? No, that's Ben Franklin or some guy at a bar, and so maybe I'm not going to change my ways about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we know where our wisdom is coming from? So the game is going to be this. I'm going to provide you a proverb, a bit of wisdom. Okay, and your job is to tell me whether it's a secular bit of wisdom or whether it's from the world or whether it's Solomon. And actually, these are all legitimately from Solomon. They're biblical bits of wisdom. Okay, and if it is a secular bit of wisdom, we want to find out where this nefariousness is coming from, and so you're going to tell me country of origin. That's the goal. Everybody,
Epcot Center is still not a country, Dan.
no. Now listen here. Listen here.
It covers them all.
We seem to have trouble following the rules. These are countries. Countries. Jake being closest to legitimate geography classes, I expect him to nail this.
boy.
It gets worse the farther out from geography class you go.
It's been sophomore year. It's been sophomore year since I've looked at a map.
This is gonna be rough. This is gonna be rough times. All right, ready?
Me too.
Here we go.
Doesn't stop Dan any.
All right, secular or Solomon, starting with Buva. Stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Secular or Solomon?
That's straight Solomon.
Buva says it's Solomon. Jake?
Solomon.
Solomon. Dan?
I'm gonna go secular, even though it just screams Solomon. I think you're tricking us. Boy, has nothing to do with the PBR stuff.
Secular
right?
Epcot Center.
What? I can't think of a country. I'm completely blank.
No
Where's-
country in the world?
Not a single one, Dan.
I'm thinking of water.
Zimbabwe,
sweet water.
Ethiopia, we've
I'm going to
talked
say
about.
Zimbabwe.
I was
They
gonna
have the Victoria Falls there. The water is pretty special. Okay, yeah. I'm doing
Okay,
that.
stolen.
On the border with Zambia.
Stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Mike, secular Solomon.
I'm gonna go with Solomon with an asterisk.
What do you mean?
I'll explain later.
I reject the asterisk. You're going full Solomon.
Solomon dash asterisk.
All right, so stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. The answer is Solomon, Proverbs 9:17.
Yeah. Any of the reason I put the asterisk in there is because the Solomon Proverbs don't start till chapter 10. Anything prior to chapter 10 was not directly attributed to Solomon.
What?
That's true.
I did not
Asterisk
know that.
accepted.
All right, fine. They're from Proverbs then.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Secular or Solomon. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will come to ruin. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will come to ruin. Secular or Solomon. Jake?
Ooh, I'm gonna go secular and Canada.
Secular Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of eye winkers in Canada.
Damn border. Okay, I'll go Solomon on this one.
Solomon, Mike.
Solomon.
Uh-oh. Tides are turning. Buva.
Solomon.
Oh, Jake's on a Lone Island. Lone Island with a whiskey Canadian. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble. This is causing me a problem because I copied this from the wrong place on the online, and it's got like a footnote in it that's a T, and so it actually reads, "Whoever twinks the eye causes trouble." Pretty sure that's not right. And a babbling fool will come to ruin. It is indeed Solomon. Proverbs 10.
Yeah.
Proverbs 10:10.
Without asterisk.
No asterisk.
No asterisk.
Full on Solomon.
All right, secular or Solomon. No matter how hard you try, the bull will never give milk. No matter how hard you try, the bull will never give milk. Secular or Solomon. Dan.
Oh, man.
Good luck, Dan.
I'm pretty confident that would be secular, and that is. I'm gonna go Mexico.
There's confusion in
Did you
Mexico.
say South America and then
I
say
mean,
Mexico?
the southern. I mean,
Mexico is North America, Dan.
Well, I'm thinking south of us.
You know what I'm saying.
South North America.
America doesn't count till us.
Oh, sweet Moses.
Dan still treats Texas as a Mexican property.
I've been to the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo.
Yeah, Mike.
That's secular America's beard.
Secular Solomon. Mike.
I'm going to go with secular and Spain.
Oh,
That was mine too.
that was totally mine.
Spain ain't the only country with bulls.
Fine. Secular Paraguay.
Secular and France.
Yeah.
All right. We
France is known for his bulls.
finally blew up a bucket of cliches here. No matter how hard you try, the bull will never give milk. It is a problem in secular Ukraine.
Oh.
Ukraine. You did not see that coming.
No, Ukrainians have bulls?
Yeah.
I mean, very irritated bulls.
I ain't got no milk.
They're not happy.
They're a little sensitive.
Apparently, they came up with this proverb because of the actions of someone, and the bull is on the wrong end.
His
All right,
name was Brian.
No.
Brian.
Some Brian guy did it.
A Brian guy in Ukraine.
Yep. There's a lot of Brians in Ukraine. Didn't you know that?
His name is Vic Roy.
A lot of unhappy.
All right, secular or Solomon. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. Ooh. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. Secular or Solomon. Mike.
Solomon.
Solomon. Bova.
Solomon.
Uh-oh. Jake.
Solomon.
Solomon. Dan.
That's pretty wordy. I'm going Solomon.
Dan says it's verbose. Only a rich man with lots of wives would be so lengthy in his proverbs.
I need another one.
It is indeed
The editor's on my case.
Solomon. Proverbs 11.
Yeah.
Did you just go 9, 10, 11, 12, 13?
Here's what I'm going to say. When I'm pressed for time, here's what may or may not have happened. I might have got here at, say, 9:10. Show starts at 10
Hey,
o'clock.
don't you stay what I think you're about to say.
I get stuff all riled up. I'm getting ready, making some progress, getting some tunes rolling, putting a hat on, all this kind of jazz.
Then some dude shows
Booba shows up at 9:30, 9:32, and I mean is chatting like a caffeined up hen for 20 minutes.
I just went and saw the Grinch movie with my lady, and it was boring. I'm sorry.
Let's just say I've heard this Pope style advice twice. And so in either
You're
case,
welcome.
In either case, it gets about 9:56 or so, and the show is supposed to fire up, and I need a bunch of Solomons. And so I'm just clicking through chapters.
Hey, man, next time be wise and say, hey, Boova, I'm trying to do something. Can you give me like 10 minutes?
Here's the deal. I sympathize with your lady friend. It's tough to get you to stop talking.
Agreed. Hey, there's a reason I said it. No worries.
Okay, here we go. Secular or Solomon. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fattened ox and a hatred with it. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fattened ox and hatred with it. Secular or Solomon. Boova.
Secular, Romania.
Secular. Just put you angry ox eating going in Romania. Jake.
Secular, and I'm gonna go with Portugal.
A free proverb of the day: where you vote with Boova every time, there is nothing but trouble. Jake is in with Portugal. Dan Hudson.
I'm gonna say Proverbs 12.
Proverbs 12. Mike.
Proverbs.
Mike's in with Proverbs. What was Boova? What Proverbs do you think it is?
I don't think it's a proverb. I said secular.
Oh, I thought you were laughing at the Proverbs.
I said Solomon.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, and I mean that's not much, right? Like we're not talking. That's not a Hebrew word for veggies. They really mean like
Yeah, just seasoning.
Mustard seed.
oregano.
Yeah. You eating a rock and licking off the
Love
salt.
the parsley.
As long as there's love and oregano rather than a fattened ox and hate. That is indeed Solomon. That's Solomon. Proverbs 15.
Ah,
Almost had the numbers game down, man.
I can't remember where we left off.
All right, here we go. Secular or Solomon. Do not mistake a goat's beard for a fine stallion's tail. Do not mistake a goat's beard for a fine stallion's tail, secular or Solomon. Jake Brend.
I'm gonna go secular. And where's Rocky from? What is
Are
that?
you saying
Queens?
Rocky Balboa?
is that an Italian accent?
Yes.
Yeah. Italy.
He's from Philadelphia.
I'm trying to figure out. It's because the stallion part, not the
Yeah.
goat's beard. Okay, I'm with you. I'm like, I don't know what version of Rocky you've seen, but it had nothing to do with the goat's beard. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. Dan, do not mistake a goat's beard for a fine stallion's tail. Secular Solomon.
This is from Kuwait. It's secular.
Secular Kuwait.
I'm dead spot on. I can't even wager a guess. I'm going to go with secular, and I can't. I'm going to go with Latvia.
I mean, you're allowed to vote Kuwait as well.
No, I can't. If I get in league with Dan, his ego gets too
It's
high.
like that's
I
like
can't deal
ordering
with
the
him.
same dinner together at you can't go to a restaurant and order chicken fingers at the same time.
No.
It's not all right.
Yeah, I'll have chicken fingers. I'll have the same loser.
Yeah. You unoriginal?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So Dan was Kuwait. Jake was Italy. Mike, you were what?
Latvia.
No doubt. All right, Buva.
Secular Saudi Arabia.
Secular Saudi Arabia. Do not mistake a goat's beard for a fine stallion's tail. It is a problem where there is a free-flowing Guinness in Ireland.
Oh,
It's an Irish problem
shucks.
goats
I got the
to grab
eye.
the face of
Yeah.
a goat and think this might be a horse's behind.
Jake would like to submit that he got the letter I correct,
But not Rocky Balboa.
but not Rocky Balboa.
The Irish Rocky, also known as Conor McGregor.
I mean, I accept that. Well, actually, Mike's the points man. He's gonna have to.
No, -5, Jake. Sorry.
Oh, that's bummer.
Tough days.
I think I've won at like a -9,000 before. You're doing all right.
All right, here we go.
9,001 today.
Secular or Solomon, a rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. A rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. Secular or Solomon. Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Solomon.
Solomon, Mike.
I really want to say Solomon because I feel like he was afraid of high walls. I can't think of anybody else that would be.
He
Except
follows-
for the Chinese. That's a secular Chinese, man.
All right, Booba.
Solomon Proverbs 4.
Mike.
I feel like Ben laid out exactly how he got these proverbs. And you
Yeah,
went
but then he
backwards.
jumped from 11 to 15, so he's
So we're
throwing me
about
off.
19 now.
I'm reading them in different order.
Ooh.
I don't just write them down and take them
That-
straight from the
I've
list.
been outflanked by Ben. I'm certain he
And I
wrote
think that's wrong because Proverbs 4, pretty sure he's still like stating the case for why wisdom is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jake,
Proverbs 14.
Jake, a rich man's
Proverbs
wealth
16.
is just okay. You're wait. It says he's in. He's in a rich.
all the way.
A rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his imagination. That is indeed Solomon. Proverbs 18.
Oh, definitely not Chinese though.
Yeah,
Well, certainly not Chinese.
All right, here we go. Secular or Solomon. Just a few more to go. To take revenge on an enemy, give him an elephant. First, he must thank you for the gift, and then the elephant's appetite will deplete your enemy's resources.
That was very specific.
I love that one.
Secular Hannibal?
Mike.
Carthaginian.
Secular India.
Okay. Booba.
Secular Carthage.
Secular Madagascar.
Yeah. These are all good guesses.
Hold on, Booba. I reject Carthage.
No, you can't.
I did. It has to. It's a current country.
I
I
don't-
filtered them out.
Why does it have to be a current country?
Because it does. I'm trying to help you out here.
Fine. Secular Egypt.
Yeah, good one. Boom.
Exactly the same place.
Dan.
I'm gonna go secular. This is the Republic of the Congo.
Congo?
The drum. The drum.
Republic of the Bongos.
Did I say Congo?
Yeah.
Congo.
Democratic or Republic?
Democratic Republic of the Congos.
Yeah, it's a small city in Florida.
The United States of the Wiro.
There's a lot of merengue happening down there.
I keep doing that.
I keep doing that. It's been more than one
We have a
time.
gal who's a refugee from the Congo. And I keep trying to say Congo.
Yeah.
All things in Congo.
Are you from the Congo?
Do you do a lot of
Always.
lines there? Everybody's always standing in lines. Don't worry about it.
Dan never fails me. Never.
The Democratic Republic of the Congos.
I mean, if it's not a blatant harassment of a country, or like a complete stereotype, I didn't see it coming. Oh, never fails. Dan.
I have more interaction with congas.
You know, there's at least 5 dance troops named that somewhere in this country.
All right, here we go. To take revenge on an enemy, given an elephant. First, he must thank you for the gift, and then the elephant's appetite will deplete your enemy's resources. Do never accept an elephant if you live in Nepal.
Oh.
Secular Nepal.
Super suspicious.
Oh man.
Nepal.
Hold on.
Phenomenal. Thank you for that, Dan.
Here we go. Secular Solomon. Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. Secular Solomon. Bova.
Ooh, secular Norway.
Secular Norway. Jake.
I'm gonna go Proverbs 13.
Proverbs 13. Dan Hudson.
I'm going secular. I'm trying to figure out time travelers.
Terrifying way to say that.
What?
I'm going secular.
I'm trying to figure out time travel.
I'm worn out from Conga now.
born
I
in a
just can't
different
barely put
time.
two thoughts together.
I'm gonna go with I'm completely blank. I'm gonna go time stands still in Antarctica. So we're gonna go there.
And I'm gonna accept.
Yeah.
I'm gonna accept this.
You
comment.
have to after Democratic Republic of the Congas.
All right, Mike.
Secular Chile.
Secular
We're gonna be by
Chile.
the snare drums.
Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. It is indeed secular China.
Oh, dang.
China.
The big walls.
The
Who's-
big walls.
That's right.
China is actually very similar to Norway.
I've often heard that. Yeah. All
They're
right.
sister countries.
Here we go. Final one. This is for all the. Well, actually, again, I don't do the score. I don't get to say things like that. Here we go. Jake's going to lead the way here. Don't bargain for fish which are still in the water. Don't bargain for fish which are still in the water. Secular or Solomon.
I'm gonna go Solomon.
He's in for Solomon. Dan Hudson.
I'm going secular fish. Still in the water. Don't bargain for fish. Boy, these are tough ones for me today. I'm going to go off the coast. Where am I going to? Let's just.
We
go
don't know, Dan.
I don't need. I'm just.
There are no consequences to a wrong answer, Dan.
Too difficult. We're going Switzerland.
Okay. Secular.
Yes, the Swiss and all of their fish.
Fish and cheese.
Mike, don't bargain for fish which are still in the water.
Hey, have you ever seen an Israeli proverb? You know what I'm saying? Do they come up
Yeah, I
with
think
their
this is
own?
called Solomon.
I'm pretty sure that's Solomon.
That's what I'm saying. Do they bank on only the words of Solomon, or is there like other wise people in Israel?
So all the people in Israel are sitting there saying, "We can't say cool stuff."
Yeah.
Solomon's got
There's no
a
market for
corner
a
on
wise
that
man
market.
here. We've already had one. Okay, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go secular Israeli.
Secular
Nice.
Israeli. Over.
I'm gonna go secular Argentina.
Don't bargain for fish which are still in the water. It is indeed secular India.
Yeah,
Also very similar to Argentina.
obviously.
Mike, what are the damages?
So final tally was Buva had positive 3 points.
Oh,
His best showing in 5 years. Jake had a total of 75. Dan was in the tank at -4. And I came in at a paltry 30. So it looks like Jake was the winner.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting one right.
Yeah, nicely done, Jake. Accept the points.
yeah. These points don't mean anything,
What do
and
I
they are
win?
completely
A
based
wise
on
man
Mike's opinion
accepteth
of
the
you.
points. You get glory. That's it.
Proverbs 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point scheme is not determinable. It's just whatever occurs to Mike at the time.
Yeah, it's the currency of which we trade.
It's astonishing. That's the first time I've come out positive.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, congratulations. Hey, if you're interested in hearing more secular versus Solomon, you can go to the website, go to livefromthepath.org, and just do a search for secular versus Solomon or just secular or Solomon. Either one is going to help you out. And we've got clips from some of the guests that have been on the show and run through the mills to can we know where our wisdom comes from. And here's how you cheat. And cheating is the right way to win, is just start reading through the Proverbs. That way you can be awesome at this game and take in the Lord's word. It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it is. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Dear Live from the Path, our 9-year-old son makes perfect grades in school. His friends all have cell phones, and I believe he should get one also. My husband disagrees and thinks he should be a teenager first and learn more responsibility. With time changing so quickly and kids getting phones at 6 and 7 years old, am I wrong or is my husband old-fashioned in his approach?
What? How old was he again?
9.
Yeah, boy's 9.
And the mom thinks he should have one.
Yeah,
And the
And thinks that his grades have anything to do with it.
no,
I'm with the dad.
the father's pretty
I
smart.
agree with the dad.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So my kids have my old cell phones, right? They work on the Wi-Fi or whatever, and they can watch Netflix on them or something every once in a while. They text people in their family. But like, they lose more of the $50, $75 Apple headphones. I mean, just like it's going out of style, they lose them. Can't find them, tear them up, whatever. They've gone through like 5 of them. And I keep getting free ones, random places, and then like a fool, I hand them back out like candy. And the truth of the matter is, they have no reason to have a cell phone at all. Right? It's merely as a gift from me to them. There's no practical reason for them to have them. The fact that their friends have them make no difference to me at all. It really is just kind of a fun thing for them to have. And so, like, there's no necessity for them to have it at all. But, like, an active cell, whatever, ability to call and surf internet however you want, no. I'm 36. I shouldn't have that freedom. It's nothing but a trap. It's a trap, man.
It's a trap. Yeah.
By the way, you saying the words, I keep finding them in free places.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're stealing headphones. That's exactly what that sounds like. If someone was stealing headphones a lot, they'd probably say, I keep finding them in free places.
Here's the deal.
It's in my pocket. I don't know how I got there.
That Richmond Gorman's going out of business, and they keep poor inventory.
I checked the price tag. It said free 50.
Now, there's people that get phones that don't ever use headphones, like
No,
it's
agreed.
still in the original packaging. I'm like, we can do them headphones.
I get it. I'm just saying it sounds like you're thieving some headphones all around town.
Me a theft. Anyway, I'm with the dad. I don't even know if there's an exact age. Like, I think it has to do with your kid and out of necessity, right? Like, if they're 14 and they're at practice early in the morning, practice late at night, and they need a ride or whatever, then yeah, I mean, they probably need a cell phone.
That's when ours got them. Is when they were waiting for us or we were
Right.
waiting for them. I thought, let's just get them a phone and we can communicate.
I got a cell phone when I became mobile. Like, when I was able to leave without them, basically. I mean, not just school. Like, I could hop in a car and go.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have, like, a legit cell phone until I was 14, 15 years old.
The standing rule with my kids, like I said, they have my hand-me-down old phones to use at home or whatever, and they want phones, and I said, you can have one when you buy one.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much they'll still be on my plan or whatever, but like they're gonna pay for the phone.
Right.
It's not my phone. I'm not using it. So like if they want a phone apart from what they absolutely need, and if there's just something they want, then they can buy one.
I think middle school is the line where I think it becomes like a need for most people, because the difference between 5th and 6th grade is incredible. The freedom people get, like actual sports practices that are organized by the school instead of by parents and coaches. I think that's where I got mine at the end of 5th grade, and then as I got more siblings, my brother got one in like 2nd grade. So I guess
Absolutely.
yeah, that's how it works. But I think the summer of 5th to 6th grade is a pretty safe time. Where
See, and I would give my kids a flip phone.
yeah, I got a flip phone.
Yeah.
I got my first smartphone, I think, 8th grade.
Yeah, so and the thing is what the mom's talking about is like these kids that they have the smartphone is the problem, right? Like there's just a gateway to a whole world
Right.
that you're in charge of walking them through, and like you have to be very careful on what you allow your kids to do, and you're going to come out as a fuddy-duddy and an old man on a lot of this stuff, but like that's your job. That's the crux. When you had kids, your job is to walk them into a world, and like free range on YouTube and the internet browser, just a mistake. They're going to wind up in places that they didn't even intend to be. And like it's Dan uses this phrase a lot. It's garbage in, garbage out. You take in a bunch of crap, you're gonna put crap back out, and it's just the truth. Anybody want a pro 9-year-old cell phone? No.
Nope. I mean,
Okay. Secular says parents teach their children to be responsible by placing some responsibility on their shoulders. In the current landscape, it's a good idea for a child to have the ability to communicate with a parent in case of an emergency. You and your husband could give your son a flip phone so he can do that if necessary. Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay. Last one. Ready? Dear Life from the Path. I had bariatric surgery, gastric sleeve, 5 months ago. I left my previous job because the way I was treated by my employer and coworkers changed drastically after my procedure. I'm starting a new job soon and do not want to tell my new employer or coworkers that I've had this operation. People always treat you differently once they know. I don't know anyone at the new job, and I prefer to keep this part of my life private. My boyfriend thinks I should tell at least HR in case any medical issues arise while at work, because then they would be able to inform medical personnel. I don't think they need to know. What do you think?
no.
No,
Yeah, no.
that's stupid. I am HR. I don't need to know about your bariatric sleeve.
Here's
Like,
the thing. People are weird, right? Like, they just assume that HR is this faceless organization within their company. It's made up of people that work there, right? And, like, there's not like a head medical guy that informs the ambulance driver what happened, right? They're not near that organized, and frankly, nobody cares.
Yeah. I've literally been working HR since I was 22, 23 years old, and never once have I really ever needed that information in any situation.
Yeah.
Like, people come into me, they're like, well, since you're HR, I need to tell you this. No, you don't.
No.
That has absolutely nothing to do with my job. And my employers are always like, well, you're HR, so you need to be involved in this. No, I don't. Are we getting hired, fired, or sued for it? Nah, we're good.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, I mean, this one's kind of straightforward, too. No, it's none of their business.
Yeah.
No.
You got to tell your health insurance people.
They know anyway.
They know. They paid for it.
Well, not when you switch jobs. They got a new healthcare provider.
Well, maybe, but if they ask,
maybe. Yeah,
I
they
don't
did.
think. No, right, but it doesn't mean you have a new healthcare provider. Both of them might offer United Healthcare.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not a pre-existing condition.
yeah, but they probably don't.
That's right. It's just something that happened to you. You don't have to tell them everything.
Well, it's not like you
Right.
got hit by a vehicle. That's something that just happened to you. You decided to do it.
Right, but it's not a persistent illness.
Right. I had knee surgery. I don't tell my every new insurance company I have, hey, by the way, I had knee surgery when I was 17.
Yeah, that's true. All right. No rebuttal to this, man, either. Okay,
No.
Secular says, your medical history is your own business. After 5 months, you should have healed from your surgery. I'm not sure what kind of complication your boyfriend is worried about, but if you experience any, the time to report it to HR will be when they occur. Still none of HR's business, really.
No.
Well, yeah, if you're on like a leave of absence because of it, then I legally can't know. All you need to tell me is, hey, my doctor said I'm not coming into work. And I go, great, thanks. Appreciate
Yeah.
the doctor note.
I don't think your boyfriend has much real-world experience. He's
No.
the exact kind of guy that believes there's some kind of weird connection between HR and the hospital in the area, and that they have like a daily conversation.
It's called HIPAA. I can't know anything.
Yeah. No, that's foolish. That's it, Ben.
Yes, we got through that. Right on. Well, here's the deal. We are out of time, so we're gonna have to move these. We're gonna double up on the theses for Mr. Loftus next week
Yeah, okay.
on justice and all this business. All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with the show tonight. Big thanks again for Jake for coming in, and except for his
Thanks for having me.
his dominating view on secular versus Solomon.
Yeah, you totally rocked that, buddy.
He swept the floor. And again, if you have any thoughts on the show or you want to get hooked up with Jake, give us a call or text at 515-517-0085. That's the Live from the Path complaint line. Your compliments are welcome, but we do like it used for its explicit purpose, which is to complain about the show.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and do that. In the meantime, be faithful in the means. God will handle the ends. You've been listening to Live from the Path.